Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you're about to see here. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with me. We are going to do a paycheck budget breakdown because it is time for another payday. So my pay, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. If you're new here, you don't know that. But I get paid every other week, so bi-weekly, and I am an hourly employee who does more than 40 hours, but I don't really get overtime because a lot of things I just do kind of in the evening, at night. So that's just a little bit about my job. Not much, just a little bit. But anyways, I get paid every other week and I get paid on Fridays. So I'm opening my budget planner. So twice a year, there's like an extra Friday during the month. And so that means I get an extra pay. And since we pay our bills a month ahead, that really does feel like a bonus. So it's nice. This is my July budget kit. And if you didn't already get this, you can download this absolutely free. In the description below, there's a link, but please be a subscriber because I am trying to check because I want these budget printables that I'm giving away for free to really be a thank you for people who have been supporting my channel. So this is my July kit. I had 5 different versions for July, I think, but I'm using the puppy on the beach. So I went ahead and I had to literally redo some of these because it was really bothering me. I was starting out with all different color printables in here because July was the month I was trying to tweak things and edit some of these printables to make them just a little bit more user-friendly. And so I had printed out just a bunch of different copies. I even had like a grayscale one, so nothing was really matching. So I knew it would bother me. And it did, so I went ahead and I printed out some new ones and I wrote in them. And I did add some stickers, things like that. So this is my monthly budget planner worksheet. Fixed expenses and bill tracker. This is my month on one page. All these printables I have out there. But this is my paycheck budget breakdown worksheet. So I've already done for the 1st, the 12th, the 15th. And today we're just going to be working on the 26th. So that is my last paycheck for the month, but we do have one more coming, and that's my husband's base pay for his sales job. So we're going to get started and we're going to start plugging in the information. So first things first, we're going to put the date of the pay of the income and what the income source is. So I started using this particular layout almost 6 years ago. And when I first started my channel, I was doing everything in a spiral bound notebook, and I would literally draw these grids and schematics by hand. And honestly, I didn't mind it. I kind of like doing it. I don't know. It just, doing things like that, sometimes repetitive things or, drawing something like this is very calming for me. So it never bothered me to do that. But at some point along the way, I decided that I wanted to look a little bit more legitimate and create these in a printed format. So right now I'm adding my fixed expenses. So that is how I came up with these. And I did these exactly how I was drawing them by hand. And since then, I have tweaked them just a little bit, not a whole lot. I've taken some of your suggestions actually, which have been very helpful ever since I got back into doing my budget recently. And you guys have had some good ideas and you're like, well, why don't you do this or, add this extra column. So mostly on the monthly worksheet, I did that. This hasn't changed too much since I started back doing my videos, but it has changed a little bit. And I started to do ones that are different colors, just to make it a little bit more fun looking and, just to kind of keep it fresh. So now I'm going to start adding my variables. So those don't change a whole lot week to week. There's some that are pretty standard, but this is also the category where I would put any I don't want to say unexpected, but unexpected or different expenses would go in this category. Things that are not usual or typical to my budget. So I'm adding the usual suspects as we go along. And then there is, what else? Okay. I know it's going to be hard to read my writing. So this, well, I'll tell you in a second. All right, so we have groceries, gas, dog food, dining out, and this says Bulldog app too, and prescriptions. So the Bulldog app too, there's a website that is for adopting all kinds of bulldogs, French bulldogs, American, English. And every time you fill out an application, it is so lengthy. I mean, it just is like, oh my gosh. It's really unbelievable the amount of questions that they ask you, which I totally understand, because I'll be the first person to say you need to vet people extremely well if you are handing off a rescue dog to them. So I get it. But what I don't really love is that they don't keep your application on file even for 30 days. So every time you fill out an application, you have to start fresh, and you have to put which dog you're interested in. You can't just say I'm interested in any bulldog or any French bulldog, any English bulldog. You have to specifically state the one that you are interested in and pay $15. So I understand the whole payment thing because it does go to taking care of these dogs. I'm not put off by that. But what I don't like is having to fill out all that information. It is so tedious every single time. So this is probably, I don't know, since I've known about this website, maybe the 4th time I've done this, and it's the first time that I'm actually tracking it, because before I would take it like out of miscellaneous money or anything hanging out my checking, because it's not super expensive. But I'm probably not going to continue with them, because I feel like, this is getting off on a tangent, but I feel like, you know, I follow them on Facebook, and they have these dogs with fosters, which again, amazing. You know, it helps the dogs heal from their situation that they've been in, whatever the case may be. But I feel like a lot of times these dogs end up going to the fosters. So if you know already who you're giving the dog to, why are you putting it out there that it's available for adoption? Technically, it's really not. I feel like it's a money grab. And again, I hate sounding like this, but you're asking people for $15 every time. I mean, here's the thing. Keep my application on file. Keep it on file just for 30 days. I'll still pay $15 each time I'm interested in a new dog. You know, just make it a little bit easier. So, I don't know. It's just become like kind of a thorn in my side, and I don't really love their policies, like how they do things. But again, you know, who am I to say that anybody doing work for animals is doing it wrong? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. This is just me doing petty complaints. So that's what that's all about, though. But yeah, every time, I mean, I feel like I see these dogs because, you know, they post on their Facebook group, and they post their progress, and, you know, this dog is with this family, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, like a month later, they'll be like, oh, congratulations to blah, blah, blah for adopting this dog. It's like, okay, that was its foster family. Like, why are you then taking applications for this dog when you know darn well that it's going to this family? I don't know. But anyways, it works for them. Everybody has a different business model, I guess. And I literally got scammed by somebody else. I'm not even joking, from another rescue. This woman puts this picture of the most adorable pug you would ever see. Baby pug. Oh, saved from, you know, a puppy mill. He's the runt, and the mother rejected him. I mean, every sad story that you could hear about this dog experienced. So puts on this angelic photo of this dog. I mean, just adorable. Says he's, you know, up for adoption. Filled out an application, you know, whatever. I hear from this woman the next day. she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're interested. We have this phone conversation. She sounds pretty cool. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, maybe this will be the one, you know. I was really excited. And so then a couple days later, and she's even like, if you pay me $75, we'll drive the dog to your house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, because then I don't have to like take my mom with me or something to go, you know, pick this up. And so everything just sounded awesome. And the adoption fee was high. The adoption fee was not high. I mean, okay, so we have $623.66 in fixed, but it was like, I want to say it was $800 or something like that, but the poor little puppy didn't come fixed. So that was on you to do that. Well, a lot of times when you're adopting or rescuing, that adoption fee that you're paying, that high fee that you're paying, includes them fixing the dog. So she's like, is that a problem? And I'm like, I guess not, you know. Now I'm adding up my savings. I'm like, I guess not, you know, we'll get them fixed, you know, whatever. And she's like, well, you know, it's just, we are so overwhelmed right now, and we just haven't had the time, and we'd just like to get them in a good home. Okay, fine. So the next thing you know, I'm asking her if she can send me some additional pictures, you know, via text. I'm like, can you please, you know, send those along? I'd really love to see what he looks like, you know, like at play or whatever. Just additional pictures, because I only saw the one on Facebook that kind of advertised him. So she's like, yeah, no problem. Well, before she sends me the pictures, another day goes by. Then she literally calls me on the phone. And she's like, hey, she goes, I just want to tell you that my friend was here at the farm, because that's what they call it. It's like something farm rescue. And she said she was looking at, I can't remember this dog's name. This is like a month ago. She was looking at him, and she's like, well, what kind of dog is it? And she's like, hey, that's a pug. And she's like, I don't know a lot about pugs. She's like, but I know that's a pug. And the lady's like, well, it must be mixed with something, because, you know, we've always had pugs, and that doesn't look like a full pug to me. Well, now I'm just really confused, because the photo on the Facebook website and their website was a full pug, and we've always had pugs too, and I know what a pug looks like, and I know what a mixed pug looks like, because we've had puggles. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. All right, so for variables, we are at $430. For savings, we're at $210. For fixed expenses, we're at $623.66, and I just added another subscription, which I did not plan on doing. So I'm a huge Big Brother fan. I was going to say Big Brother fan. It just started again. So if you watch, please like friend me somehow, because I love talking about it. But anyways, so they always offer, like, it used to be called in the very beginning Big Brother After Dark. So it was like when the show is over, you could continue to watch the live feeds. Now they just call it live feeds or feeds. And it used to be through CBS, so you could, you know, opt in to get the CBS app. Then they switched it to Paramount Plus. And so I heard that Pluto TV had it absolutely free. Pluto TV is free, period. So I downloaded that, and I just could not get the feeds to play. It was very inconsistent. It was irritating. I was just frustrated with it. So there was a Paramount Plus deal, and you could get Paramount and Showtime, I think, for like $14, or just Paramount Plus for, it was like just under $7. So I went with that, and I'm like, it's just for like a couple months, so it's okay. And right now I'm putting a timeline on my groceries, gas, and dog food, so we know what timeline that covers. Oh my gosh, I didn't write down the timeline. I'm gonna have to go back and edit that. Just know that's coming. All right, so anyways, getting back to this woman. I'm like, well, can you please send pictures of him, because I am interested in seeing him, what he looks like. So right now I'm copying all the categories down into my receipt area, and this is when we tally everything up. So she's like, sure. And so eventually later that day, she sends me pictures of this dog. You guys, this is not a pug. I mean, I don't know what kind of dog this was. He was very small. He probably was a puppy. I do believe that. But his face was so elongated, and he kind of looked like a mix that I'm not familiar with. But the elongated snout, the elongated face is not pug-like at all. Even in a mix, we've had 2 puggles before, and they kind of had still that little ski jump pug nose, you know, just like super adorable. So not a flat face, but a very shortened face. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is not a pug at all. And so I was talking to my girlfriend who does rescue work, and she's like, no, she's like, that's the worst thing that they can do is falsely advertise. She's like, that is so unethical. That's not legitimate. She's like, do not get involved. And so the next thing you know, I, you know, let this lady know, I'm like, you know what, we're really looking for a pug. I'm not sure what kind of dog this is, but we want to anticipate how big the dog is going to get because puppies grow very quickly, and we have another pug at home. So I don't need like this, like a bigger dog, you know? And so she's like, well, what if we reduce the adoption fee to $300? I'm like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? Like, how like scammy does that sound? I was like, no. So I don't know. She texted me one other time and I did not respond to her because I'm like, you know what, lady, we're not doing this. And so that's where we left it. So fast forward. Okay, so first of all, let's get into the budget. So unfortunately for this paycheck breakdown, I don't have enough money to cover all these things. And so I had to use, or actually what I am using is just money that is in my checking account, because I always have money in my checking account. I just don't include it in my paycheck budget breakdowns because it's just not necessary to do that. So even though I do these breakdowns, it doesn't mean that this is like to the penny, this is all we have. So I do keep money a little bit in the checking account, and I do have money in savings. So this is going to have to just be pulled out of other places to cover everything. So I'm going to take the total income that we have, and I'm going to subtract each of these categories. So first for fixed, $623.66, then $430, then $210, then $7. That's not right. Hold on a second. That's not right. I didn't add that right. Okay, 140. See what I do when I get talking? 140 plus 60 plus 20 plus 60 plus 30 plus 120 is 430. Where am I getting that I don't have enough money? I don't know where that I didn't have enough money, because that's just not true. When I figured this out first, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough. But that's clearly not the case. So, okay. I don't know. I don't know what I did. But this is correct. So we're just going to go with that. Oh, okay. You guys are figuring this out with me real time. This is pathetic. Okay, so we had a very expensive visit with Stella, and that was her vet visit. Her vet was $395, and I still think I have enough. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. So Stella is starting on injections. She's been getting injections in her back, but she is starting on home injections. And I think they're either every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks. I can't remember. So we had to pay for those ahead of time, and then they ordered the medicine for us. But I'm not sure if these are going to work for her or not. She has osteoarthritis and like degenerative disc disease, like, so she has a ton of back problems, and it affects her walking. So the vet visit was, I believe it was $95, and then the medication was $300. So it brought it to $395. So maybe that's what I was thinking. I think so, because I was like, something is missing. So I'm gonna add $430 plus $395. Yes, $825. So guys, I literally write down ahead of time what I'm doing so I can copy it over. I know a lot of people probably do that. $825. All right. So I'm sorry about that. I had it in there, but I didn't write it here. All right. So $8.25. So anyways, I don't even know where. Oh, so my husband's coworker, she has a friend, of course, who breeds dogs, which I'm just not about that. I mean, if you do that, that's okay. Like, I'm not judging anybody who does that, but I'm trying to rescue as much as possible. So I don't know. I was like, I don't think so. And he's like, well, the dog's already here. It needs a home. And I'm like, okay. So cutest little freaking corgi I've ever seen. Weighed about 1.5 pounds. Most ridiculous little thing. It was barely a dog. So super cute, super just lovely little dog. Best personality. Okay, so John brought it home and he's like, let's see how Stella does with her. And Stella immediately was going to attack her. So, okay, so we have $20.63 left. So that is what we're looking at. So I'm going to put remaining down here. So Stella starts breathing heavy. She starts giving herself like an asthma attack. She's super stressed out. She wants to jump on this dog. And this little dog who hadn't made a peep since it walked through the door is barking now. And so my husband had to pick up the little dog. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking $16.86. I'm subtracting the remaining so I have the total of my bills. But now he's holding the dog up in the air, and oh my gosh, her name was Luna Cannoli, I'm so sure. And basically trying to keep them apart. So I'm like, well, this is just perfect. Stella is not about other dogs, and she wasn't about our other two before they passed away. So, and I mean, we made it work because Stella was the last one we got, you know. But in the end, I mean, it was just awful. Like, they just did not get along. And so I'm just like, you know what? This isn't going to work out. I love this dog. It's adorable, you know, whatever. But she's not for us. So we couldn't get her. So now we are not adopting. We are not buying. We are not rescuing. We are not looking for. We are not doing anything with any other dogs until Stella's gone. You know, and I hate to say that. And it sounds morbid, but it's just where we're at, and we just can't do it. So let's do a total. So $16.86.29 was our income. And then we have a total of $623.66 for our fixed. $825 because that one was missing for our variables. $210 for our sinking. And $7 for a new subscription. So that brought the grand total to $1665.66, and that left us with a remaining $20.63. So I still thought I was going to have to take money out of our account, but that's not the case. And I'm looking back at my cheat sheet, and actually it's all good. So that's what we're looking at. That is our budget breakdown for this coming paycheck. And I say coming, it's actually in my bank account, but I technically don't get paid until the 26th, but my bank deposits it anywhere between 1 and 2 days ahead of time. So I could get it between the 24th and the 25th in this case, and it was actually the 25th that it hit. So I see it coming, and I get so excited, and I feel like I am getting away with something when I get my money a day early. That's so silly. But anyways, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this budget breakdown and all the chit chats, and I hope that I see you guys in my next video. If you haven't already gotten your August budget kit, please do so. It is available in the description down below. The link is there. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you did so. And if you want to find me over on TikTok, let me know that you're coming over from YouTube so I know to follow you back. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.